It's a NASCAR original from a reborn North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Cool to be at a place like this. I can't even explain how good that thing looks out there.
It's the NASCAR All-Star Race.
The biggest stars on the biggest stage, racing for all the money.
200 lap of short track racing.
This is the perfect track for a race that only one thing matters, and that's going to victory lane.
All right, fellas, $1 million. Let's try and get it.
Welcome to Around the Track. I'm Kim Coon alongside Ryan Flores, and this week NASCAR heads to North Wilkesboro for the All-Star Racing action after back-to-back weeks of really good racing.
Yeah, intense racing the last 2 weeks. Darlington did not disappoint. It was a little bit of a bummer for the 12 team. We were making some hay early, got up in the top 5, but got wrecked. But excited to see the last driver I worked for, Brad Keselowski, take that RFK team back to victory lane. Yeah,
he broke a 110-race winless streak for himself, and then it was his first win as an owner for RFK. And I know he'd been digging hard, but the bigger story maybe was Chris Buescher, Tyler Reddick, the battle there between the two of them at the end. Chris Buescher so close for a second week in a row to a win, but then was not happy with Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, such good racing there at the end. Like, 2 lanes, cars being able to run side by side. Unfortunately, they plugged each other in the fence and both got flat tires. Brad drove by. I think it could have been an even better finish between them 3 if they didn't get flats. But yeah, if I'm Chris Buescher, I'm not happy either, understandably. Yeah. And Tyler Reddick said, look, I made a mistake, but that doesn't get Chris Buescher locked in the playoffs. Yeah,
Tyler already with a win this year, and so I definitely understand Chris's frustration. And now you wonder that we're headed to a short track. We know tempers flare at short tracks, and it's a non-points race. Maybe this gets back dusted up between the two of them.
It could be, but it's also a place where they're not going to pay the price as much. But before we get to Wilkesboro, there's a lot of stuff going on throughout the country at other places. Let's see what else we have on tap this weekend. The ARCA East cars take the track at Flat Rock Speedway Saturday, 7 p.m. Live on Flow, also on Flow, Riverhead Raceway, Tour Mod's my favorite division, and the NASCAR Canada Series is at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, so a lot on tap. They'll be racing on Sunday.
Yeah, and we've talked about it. It's the month of May. Indy 500 is next week. The action kicked off yesterday with practice. Kyle Larson was out there, a little bit rain shortened, but he's going to have a busy 2 weeks traveling between Indianapolis, Charlotte, North Wilkesboro. I don't know if you caught practice, but he has the coolest helmet for the Indy 500. It has like a yard of bricks painted down the middle of it. But again, he's going to be traveling back and forth. He will be there for the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro this weekend. And there's a lot of action happening just around the corner.
Yeah, I think the crossover is so cool because he's got the same sponsors and he's got the same number. Mm-hmm. So you see a lot going on with a lot of times you see kind of, when we've seen other guys do it, it's 2 separate things. Mm-hmm. This feels like it's all one, right? Yeah. The HendrickCars.com, the blue and orange car. It's really exciting. And just to hear him talk and digest it and talk through, he just puts it in such good racer terms of what he's learning and what he's going through the weekend. So it's really going to be a fun ride all the way from now till he pulls a double off in a couple weeks.
Yeah, no doubt he's not going to miss a beat. Even racing this weekend at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, and he raced earlier this week, and he took a big tumble at Kokomo. So Kevin Harvick's going to be in his car this weekend, getting it ready for him. So it's going to be exciting to see him get back into it. Let's take a look at what's going on in North Wilkesboro. Live on Flow Wednesday at 8:30. The Cars Tour get us fired up with the late model stocks, and the pros were actually supposed to race on Tuesday. They got rained out, so they will be following the Window World 125 with their feature event. All leads us into Saturday with the trucks on FS1 at 1:30. What are you looking forward to seeing there at North Wilkesboro Speedway?
Well, the truck series, we got some interlopers in there. Ross Chastain running a truck. He's the most recent winner of the series, won in Darlington. He was so excited. I think that was the most excited I think he's ever been for a win. But it's Darlington.
Yeah.
And you think about last year, like Kyle Larson swept the weekend. He was in the Truck Series race. So this year, can Ross do the same thing, sweep the weekend? Some other guys that you'll see in trucks, Eric Almirola. I don't remember the last time he's been in a truck.
Me either.
Right?
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a truck forever.
He's running for Hattori, and then Sammy Smith. He's going to be in that Spire number 7.
Yeah, Sammy Smith doing double duty. Another guy that I'm super excited to see is Butterbean Queen. He won this race last year in the Cars Tour. So he's a guy that knows how to win at Wilkesboro, and he's making his truck debut, so I'm super excited to see what he's able to do. He's a guy I've gotten to spend some time with, and he's a real racer. And another guy who's had a ton of success in the truck series and has been able to transfer that over to his Cup career is Carson Hocevar, and he joins us in studio next.
What do we have here? Surprise, surprise, or seen it coming? A trophy hunter or a party crasher? What if it was all that and a whole lot more?
I'm now joined in Studio 3 by driver of the number 77 Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports, Carson Josefar. Welcome. Happy to have you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It is a very special weekend, the All-Star Weekend, but that means a unique paint scheme for you. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, Gamebridge came together. If you donate at least $25 or more, you get your name on the Gamebridge truck that's running just before our Cup race. So excited for that. They came together with the NASCAR Foundation, and the paint scheme looks great. So excited to hopefully get that thing into the big show. You're
on the outside looking in, looking for a spot in the All-Star race. You've got two opportunities. You can either race your way in. There's two spots in the open for two drivers, or get the fan vote. Let's talk about the open first. How aggressive will you have to be to force your way to the front?
I mean, you're going to have to be really aggressive, especially if it locks down to the bottom. But, it kind of seems like the track could open up and widen out a little bit, especially on restarts and everything. It's not going to be like last year where it's super determined of grip. If it rubbers up, the track should be able to move around. And so the bump and run won't 100% might be the best option. But, yeah, I think there's going to be a handful of different options. Obviously, the track is very oddly shaped and very configured, very interesting that, passing could open up a lot of options.
I know you want to race your way in, but the fan vote is still an option. You've had quite the campaign out there. Give us a last final effort at getting the fan vote.
Well, I mean, there's a handful of different reasons, but, number one, the car looks great. It's the NASCAR Foundation. There's plenty of different options, but also, too, I'm taller than everybody in the competition. So that's just another option. Don't short your vote.
I like it. Carson, thanks for joining us in studio. We can't wait to see what you're capable of this weekend at North Wilkesboro. First, though, let's take a look back at the action from the All-Star race in 2023.
It's the NASCAR All-Star race from North Wilkesboro Speedway. What'll you do for $1 million? Let's find out.
Green flag goes in the air. We're officially racing at North Wilkesboro.
Stenhouse goes Stenhouse off the front bumper of Eric Jones. We've got our first caution.
Takes the lead, getting down to the turn one.
Kyle Larson out in front by 2.3 seconds. Kyle Larson to victory lane in the NASCAR All-Star race for $1 million. Holy smoke.
Everything gets fired up on Friday with practice and the Pit Crew Challenge qualifying. Then we roll into Saturday. There'll be heat races, which leads us to Sunday, the All-Star Open and the All-Star Race live on FS1 at 8 p.m. What are you looking forward to the most this weekend, Kim?
Well, I'm looking forward to the spotlight being put on the pit crews. We get to see you in action, and you're part of qualifying. So qualifying 3 laps, including a mandatory 4-tire stop. The qualifying determines the lineups for the heat races, but the pole sitter starts P1, heat race 1, but then also P1 in the All-Star race.
Yeah, and that's the difference between this year to other years. There's actually 2 competitions going on at once. There is the pit stop and the lap, which, like you said, counts as your qualifying lap, but the pit stop time alone is also going to be counted, and that is how you're going to pick your pit stall. So a lot going on there. There will be another, like the guy who wins the pole might not be the guy who wins the Pit Crew Challenge, which is different than years past. Last year it was also a little bit different where it was just pit stops. There was no qualifying laps. So I'm excited to get there and compete and see if the work that we've been putting in translates.
Is it fun or is it pressure?
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah, it's both. At this point in my career, the pressure makes it more fun, and our guys are ready for it. So I think it's going there as a defending champs. It's something that could be really fun. Hopefully it sets us up for a good qualifying run in our heat race.
Yeah, so the qualifier sets up the heat race lineups. Let's look at the heat race format. Heat race is 60 laps, all laps count, caution around lap 30 with another mandatory 4-tire stop. So again, we are putting you to work. Heat race 1 results, they line up on the inside for the All-Star race. Heat race 2 results, they will line up on the outside.
Well, more important than the heat races, I think my favorite race of the weekend will be the All-Star Open. There's nothing worse than missing the show, right? And the All-Star Open is basically, if you go to a short track, it's your consi, it's your B main. So to get to see these guys root and gouge, another mandatory pit stop in there, so all the pickers are going to have to perform this weekend, whether you're in the All-Star race or not. You're going to have to put the work in to get your guy in there. So I'm excited to watch that. And then it all leads us to the big show, the All-Star race. What's that format look like?
Yeah, let's look at the format. Again, 2 drivers transfer from that open you just talked about into the All-Star race. All-Star race, 200 laps. All laps count. Must start on the soft tire option. That's a little bit different this year. We have an extra tire option. Caution around lap 100 and then 150. But at that lap 100 caution, another mandatory 4-tire stop. All right, and so with that, we actually talked to some drivers about that new tire option and the repave. Let's hear what they had to say.
place being repaved, a new surface, which is going to be a lot different from what we saw last year. So just got to go in there with a new mindset.
The first year repaves are always tough, right? So I think we need to manage our expectations.
The true win for the option tire would be somebody to come in, take the option tire, maybe 1 or 2 cars, go to the back and drive right to the front in 10 laps, right?
The groove in 1 and 2 is fairly wide. The groove in 3 and 4 was pretty narrow. So hopefully we can kind of widen that out through, lap cars and having to run, inadvertently in the second lane when you're trying to pass.
We're now joined by Justin Haley, driver of the number 51 Rick Ware Racing Ford, and we are going to preview All-Star Weekend. So a couple of new things for this year's All-Star race, first being the repave. How have you prepared for the new surface at North Wilkesboro?
I don't know if I have yet.
Okay.
Yeah, my simulator time is tomorrow, so not much preparation yet, but I do know the old surface last year was so fun to race on, and I know it had to be repaved, but there's a part of you that hates it. But no, I'm looking forward to it. Everything I've heard is it's been super fast, and hopefully it's a little bit more multi-groove than it was last year. So yeah, we'll just have to see.
Okay, well, let's talk generally, because this isn't the first repave we've seen at a racetrack. What are you looking for as a driver in the first couple of laps, regardless of where you are when you're racing a new surface?
Yeah, I mean, it's still North Wilkesboro, right? It's got a lot of character. I don't know how many times we'll hear on the broadcast that one is downhill and one straightaway is uphill. So, you'll walk the track, see if there's any bumps or things like that, see where the seams are, and just general repave stuff, and then go from there. And when you get on track, try to apply it all, but there's going to be a lot of grip, and we're going to be going pretty fast.
I know you're hoping for grip, but there's another thing you have to keep track of. That is an additional tire option. We've got a softer tire that's going to be grippier, but it's going to wear down faster. As a team, how can you prepare for a tire that you essentially have not run before?
Well, that's what we do every weekend, I feel like. We just ran a new tire at Darlington that we hadn't run at Darlington before. So, yeah, you still try to bring the car that you can. It's going to change practice a little bit because you're going to have 2 different sets of tires to practice on and maybe try to feel a different change of how the car's balanced, and then you're going to qualify on the 1 tires and then probably race on another tire and go from there. So it's probably just going to be more of a headache than anything for me to figure out what tires are even on the car and try to communicate that. But I'm looking forward to it, and you got to thank NASCAR for trying something different.
Part of All-Star Weekend is putting the focus on the pit crews. As the driver, how much are you kind of rallying the troops and giving your guys just maybe some cheering up to get ready for the All-Star Weekend?
Yeah, I feel like my pit crew has been awesome this year, so it's not too hard to rile them up. They've been rock stars, and yeah, well, I mean, you just have to see. It's cool that there's a portion of it. I mean, every Sunday, right, the pit crews are probably more important than the average race fan knows. But to kind of highlight them guys and give them a spot in the, stardom is pretty cool.
We've seen a lot of beef recently, and we're headed to a short track this weekend. There are no points on the line. Is this a good opportunity for drivers who might want to get some revenge to find it this weekend?
Thankfully, I don't think I have any revenge.
Yeah, you're not in the pile of drivers that have beef.
But it is nice. It's like an off weekend for us. All we do all year is worry about points. Monday to Sunday, you're just worried about points, where you're at in points, trying to be better in points, because it's big money at the end of the year, and it's big money each week. So you're just trying to race as smart as possible, and to go into a race that there's really nothing on the line except winning. So you definitely, are kind of carefree, and you might make some moves that you might not make at a normal race weekend and put yourself in a position. But yeah, thankfully, I don't think I have any beef with anyone to square up, so I'm all set.
The thing you do need to worry about is racing into the All-Star race. You have the opportunity to get in via the Open. How optimistic are you about the team and whether they can race their way in?
Yeah, I feel great, especially coming off of a top 10 with Rick Ware. It's I feel like we've kind of built up speed each and every week, and we've improved and kept getting better. So, yeah, I don't see any reason that we can't compete. I do know the Open is stacked this year. There are more Open cars than there is All-Star cars at the moment. So it's a tough, tight field, and yeah, we're going to have to bring our A game. But thankfully, there's a fan vote, and feel like I might be close on that. So we'll have to see.
All right, so let's hear it. What's your pitch for the fans to vote for you?
You just have to. I mean, yeah, therethere's no good pitch. I haven't done any work on that. Just the videos that I've put out have been enough, I think so. So it was cool as I was riding out of Darlington. There was a lot of hail yeses. I feel like there were so many fans screaming hail yes. So definitely vote for me, and yeah, we'll see if we can get it.
I like it. That should be your hashtag. Hail yes. If you want to see Justin Haley in the NASCAR All-Star race, you can still vote for him in the fan vote. But now that we've got you set up for everything to expect at the racetrack, we're going to see who Erica has her money on this weekend.
Join Todd Gordon and myself each week for NASCAR Inside the Race. We'll break down exactly how the race was won.
Plus, we'll dive into the data and go in depth on race strategies, penalties, and rule changes.
Catch NASCAR Inside the Race presented by Consumer Cellular each Tuesday on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
It's that time to win you some money. It's Easy Money with E. Erica, our resident sports betting analyst, is joining us again this week to give us the best bets, and you nailed it last week, Erica.
Kim, okay, so I'm super excited because, yes, my head-to-head with Hamlin and Larson that we filmed for Around the Track, that one hit. But my bonus bets that I filmed closer to race weekend, 2 of those hit, including the head-to-head. But the biggest one that cashed in was my outright winner, Brad Keselowski, at plus 1,800. A $10 bet won us a total of $190. And Kim, I can do some things with $190. How about you?
Yeah, we can do some things. So let's figure out where we're going to put our money this weekend. There is so much racing action to bet on. So let's start with the open race. Outright winners for the open race.
Yes, I'm going to go Ty Gibbs, and I'm also going to go Josh Berry. Ty Gibbs at plus 275. Kim, I feel like each week Gibbs makes a liar out of me because I'm like, it's going to be the week. It's going to be the week he wins, and he hasn't won yet. But he has run very well this year. As we know, he finished second at Darlington. And plus 275 as the favorite, I don't feel like that's a bad spot at all. And he finished second in this open race last year. Second behind none other than Josh Berry, my second pick at plus 800, where a $10 bet wins you a total of $90. We all know that Josh runs really well at short tracks. He won the open race last year. He finished third last week at Darlington. So that value, that price, I'm liking that a lot. Those are my 2 drivers, Kim, who I like to possibly win the All-Star Open race this weekend.
Yeah, both drivers with great energy headed to North Wilkesboro after podium finishes at Darlington. All right, let's look at the actual All-Star race, but let's start with head-to-head bets.
Yes, so my head-to-heads, my very first one that I'm going to go with is Denny Hamlin over Kyle Larson. And Kim, this is where you and I, this is where we had beef last week. And I want to see where you sit again, because I'm going to go Hamlin. I know I tell you guys, always take the plus money when it makes sense, but I'm going to eat my words here because I am still feeling Hamlin at minus 140 because this is his year, Kim. I think that not only is this his year, he's proven he has everybody's number. Hamlin at minus 140. What are you going to do on this head-to-head this week?
That's a hard one. Hamlin did win the Clash. That was kind of a short track race with no points on the line. But we're going to be split again because I'm going Larson. He swept the races at North Wilkesboro last year. He's got so much racing action in the month of May, and I think that's going to give him the momentum to find victory lane again.
Okay, well, speaking of momentum, someone who does not have some momentum is the next driver that I'm backing, and that is Reddick over C. Bell. And this is one of those spots where plus money to me makes really great sense. And I say he doesn't have momentum, Reddick, because he disappointed me so badly last week at Darlington, but I'm going to give him an opportunity to redeem himself and win me some money, taking him over C. Bell. He finished in this race third last year. That's my pick for this head-to-head. What about you?
Ooh, I'm going to go Tyler Reddick only because Christopher Bell has had just a lot of bad luck recently. And so I don't know that he gets out of that bad luck this weekend.
Okay. Well, someone who had good luck was Keselowski last week, my outright winner. I'm taking him. This is a toss-up over Buescher. Both of these drivers are minus 115. You really could go either way, but I do want to let you guys in on a secret why I'm backing Keselowski in this spot and why I backed him last week as the outright winner. And that is 6 is my favorite number. So whenever I can find a spot to bet Keselowski that makes sense, please believe I'm going to bet the number 6 car.
I mean, that's how people hit the lotto. I like it.
Amen.
All right. So we've got our head-to-head bets. Let's talk about outright bets for the NASCAR All-Star race. Who should we put our money on?
So the three drivers whose outright winners odds that I'm looking at, Hamlin, Logano, and Suarez. Hamlin, listen, I can't talk about Hamlin anymore because we know all the things about him. Great driver, great pit crew. This is his year. Okay. Logano, I like his longer odds. I mean, those aren't the longest odds, obviously, but I like the plus 900 odds for Logano. And then Suarez, he's a huge long shot. I say huge long shot, longer than Hamlin and longer than Logano at plus 3,000. He, other than Larson, was the only driver to lead laps at this race last year, Kim. And you remember at the beginning of the year, I said that Suarez was like my sleeper pick to actually win the Cup Series. I kind of want to walk that back, but I still got to pick him in some spot. And this is one of them right now.
Nice. Such great information. We appreciate it. We'll check in with you next week before Charlotte race weekend to get your insight. And again, fans, don't forget, Erica has her bonus bets that air later in the week on her Instagram channels.
Hey guys, I'm Corey the Joy Driver, the number 7 car. Join my buddy Ryan Flores. Every week we stack some pennies. Talk about NASCAR Cup Series right out of my windshield.
Plus, we'll give out the dogs of the week for the best pit crews and pit crew guys from the weekend. We'll break down all the money stops, all the woes, get into some technical issues, and we'll also answer all of your hashtag Penny for Your Thoughts questions.
And we have a ton of guests. Sometimes SVG pops by. We got Raja. We have all sorts of guys. You never know who's going to pop in the Nonsense Garage, but make sure you tune in SiriusXM on Tuesdays, YouTube on Wednesdays, wherever you find your podcast on Wednesdays as well. Come stack pennies with us.
We have many drivers that are trying to lock themselves into the All-Star race, not just off the competition side, but from the fan vote. And 2 of them are in studio today. Have you seen some of the videos these guys have been doing?
I have. Carson Hocevar and Justin Haley have been outdoing the field, in my opinion, in their effort to get the fan vote. So here we picked a couple of our favorite videos from each of those drivers, see what they've been doing off the track to get some extra time on the track at North Wilkesboro.
All right, Carson, we've got the other drivers in the fan vote. Their fan bases are voting for you now. What about making you be more like the most popular drivers? For instance, we could be like Ross Chastain.
I don't know how he eats the stuff off the ground. Man, like, that's just not me.
You even did that thing about Denny Hamlin the other day. What about Denny Hamlin?
Roll your window down. I beat your favorite driver.
What does that even mean?
Nah, I think that'd get me in trouble a little.
Chase Elliott's the most popular driver. What about him?
Why is he the most popular driver again?
They just love him.
Man, these ideas are getting really dumb.
I mean, everybody loves Dale Jr. What about him?
But he doesn't even race anymore. Like what does he do? Hey everybody, Dale Jr. Back with Dale Jr. Downloaded. Man, there's just not enough horsepower in these things. They need 800, 900, 1,000. No, we're throwing all that out. We're gonna put 15,000. Man, we'll steal spoilers. We don't even need those things anymore. Throw them out. Hey man, back in the day we had racecraft. Open face helmet, non-containment seats. What the does Kyle Petty have to do with any of this? Man, I think I'm just gonna be myself.
Why the hell would you want to do that?
Well, damn, man.
I will rip that wall. I will lower inflation. I will stand and let the camera pan around me for an awesome hero shot. Once you vote me into the All-Star race, puppies will never age. Every day will be 70 and sunny, and the gibbets you put on your Crocs won't ever fall off. We need someone that will take on the NASCAR establishment. That someone is me, Justin Haley, driver of the number 51 Ford Mustang Dark Horse for Rick Ware Racing. When you vote, don't just vote yes, vote hell yes. I'm Justin Haley, and hell yes, I approve this message. Vote early and vote often.
Hell yes, I'm going to vote for one of these guys. Isn't that what he said? I think the host of our stuff was so funny too. There's just been a gang of just such good ones. These guys have been going back and forth, but a lot of other guys in this fight as well.
Yeah, the field is absolutely stacked. You think about all 4 SHR cars not currently in the All-Star race. Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, Ty Gibbs, but man, Justin Haley and Carson Hocevar have both outdone themselves. With it being an election year, I was maybe leaning towards Justin Haley, especially the puppies stay young forever.
I saw your face change. When he said that, I was like, okay, he gets the vote.
That went straight to the heart. But the creativity behind Carson's, I really like.
If Carson Hocevar to me, he's got some Napoleon Dynamite vibes. So I saw him with the vote for Pedro crossed out. If he did the dance with the snow boots on, I would vote for him, but I don't know. We'll have to see who wins.
Yeah, don't forget to vote for your favorite driver to lock them into the NASCAR All-Star race.
Yes, you can vote up to 5 times a day, and voting ends at 5:30 p.m. on Sunday.
And you can check NASCAR.com because they've been releasing the top 5, not in any specific order, but just you can make sure that your favorite driver's in the top 5, and if not, get the votes.
And now that you know what to watch for this weekend, let's take you to the at-traction portion and see what's going on around Wilkesboro Speedway. It delivered so much last year. We're excited to get back, and so are these drivers. Let's hear what they have to say.
It was a super cool atmosphere. Honestly, that's the closest I feel like I've ever felt to like a Chili Bowl vibe outside of Chili Bowl. Very similar, just the excitement and the anticipation in the air, and you could feel the electricity. And
the fans, you know, were just as excited as we were. They showed up, showed out, and man, it was just a really good feeling. I went up in the stands and watched the Open, went up in the grandstands, watched the truck race, and it was just a cool feeling. Really enjoyed going there and looking forward to going back.
Each and every week there is a ton for fans to do at the racetrack. This weekend, no exception.
Yeah, concerts. My buddy Tim Duggar's going to be playing on Sunday morning. The fan zone will be open all weekend. Carnival food, so much going on. This is like a festival atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the exclusive merch and swag for this weekend is.
Yeah.
Last year, they actually ran out of souvenirs early. And the coolest part was there were a ton of crew members that came all the way from the infield out to get in line. The lines were so long, but they wanted a piece of history.
Yeah, it was so exciting last year. It was like everybody was in it together, the fans, the drivers, the crews, and it was so close. It's like, it's kind of feels like intimate maybe,
yeah.
But yeah, it's really exciting. It's like a festival type vibe, like we said, and you can check out everything that's going on at NorthWilkesboroSpeedway.com.
And it's got a lot of its old school charm. They still have the original manual scoreboard, and they change it throughout the race. So I don't envy them keeping up with that, especially as how quickly the laps click off. But with that, let's make our race picks. Who's going to be at the top of that manual scoreboard at the end of the race?
So, been watching short tracks this year. Ford's won last week, and this is my biggest point. Paul Wolf and Joey Logano win every time we go to a newly reconfigured racetrack. There's a lot of options with the tires. They're throwing a lot of like hitches in the plan, and they adjust the best. So I am looking for the Penske cars, especially that yellow 22, to be in victory lane this weekend. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with Kyle Larson. I know it seems like the obvious pick because he swept last year, but what I'm really focusing on is Cliff Daniels, crew chief for that team. He is so shrewd when it comes to strategy, and we think about the tire option for this year's race. I think he's just going to have it figured out, and they're going to find their way to victory lane again.
So we give Cliff Daniels a hard time on stacking pennies quite a bit, but he is a real racer and a short track racer, and you know, I think that he's the perfect pairing for Kyle Larson. They dominated this race last year. When it comes to strategy, you know he's going to do his homework. So 5 car's going to be a hard one to beat. The only thing is he's not going to be there all weekend, so maybe that helps us all out.
I don't know. Maybe it helps the field, but maybe it helps Larson, the momentum he'll have heading into the weekend.
Yeah, who knows? But it's time for the white flag, and I heard you got a good one for me this week.
I do, because North Wilkesboro is such an iconic track. It's a historic track. We're going to do a little bit of history. So the All-Star race has been held at 5 different racetracks. Name them.
Well, I know I've been to 4 of them. So I've been to Charlotte, Texas, Wilkesboro, and Bristol.
Yep. You know the 5th?
And I don't know the 5th one.
We've already raced on it this year. That'll be my clue.
Ooh, I was going to say Rockingham. So if we've already raced it this year, it's probably somewhere close. Atlanta?
Yes, Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Atlanta. Yeah, that's a little Humpy Wheeler day as well. I'm sure that was an exciting one. That would be an exciting one nowadays, but I love going to Wilkesboro, and I'm even more excited to get back to Charlotte next week.
Yes, 2 straight weeks of racing in North Carolina. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Around the Track. Next week, we'll be in our home track, Charlotte.
Yep, our longest race of the year, so join us right back here. We'll see you then.